Blank check with Griffin and David. Blank check with Griffin and David. Don't know what to say or to expect. All you need to know is that the name of the show is Blank Check.
It's Podcast 2, The Spawning.
That's a great line in that movie.
I mean, what fucking? No one's gonna know. No one's watching this. But I think this will be.
No one will watch it.
There is no thing we have covered, including the buried secret of M. Night Shyamalan.
What about Praying with Anger?
I think more people look that up on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think many people watch that. I don't know if anyone's gonna fucking watch this.
This is a great start to our new mini-series. Guys, I'm David Sims.
I'm Griffin Newman.
Yep.
This is a podcast called Blank Check.
Mm-hmm.
We go through the filmographies of directors who experience early success and then are given a series of blank checks by Hollywood to do crazy passion projects.
That's
sometimes those checks clear and sometimes they bounce, baby.
Sure.
And we've
talked about a lot of filmmakers.
Yeah.
George Lucas.
Boom.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Ha ha.
The Wachowskis.
Oh ho.
Cameron Crowe.
Cuckoo.
And now we got a new director on deck.
Good old Jimmy Cameron. That's right. You voted for him. We gave him to you on
Eventually.
delay.
You demanded him, and we kind of heard you.
Yeah, we heard you at an echo. This is back-to-back Camerons.
Back-to-back Cams, but not a first name this time, a last name.
Hey, now. This is the today
James Francis Cameron.
Yes, and by the way, because everyone's been waiting, the name of this miniseries is, after much debate and hand-wringing, the name of this miniseries is Podinator: Judgment Cast.
Now, you don't have to say the colon aloud. I mean, Griffin does, but you, the viewer, listener, does not.
Hey, look,
it's your call.
It'd be pretty cool if you did.
Now, we know it's a bad name. We know. You can tell us, but we know.
We would argue we had no better options.
We thought long and hard about what to call this thing, and there were no good options.
Pod me like one of your cast girls sounds like a threat of sexual assault.
It does.
I had suggested Pod Alien Cast.
He did indeed.
And who's
of course,
he?
Well, of course, that is the noble producer of our show. In addition to being one of the world's finest film critics. In fact, nay, the world's finest film critic, our finest film critic. He is the producer of the show. He is producer Ben. He's the pro-doer. He's the Ben-deucer. He's Mr. Positive. He's Birthday Benny. He's the tiebreaker. He's the fuckmaster. He is not Professor Crispy. He is the peeper.
Yeah. Oh, what's the new one? Great or Hot White Benny, right? That was one.
Hot White Benny.
Yeah.
There was a White Hot Benny or something. White Hot Benny floated in one episode. I forget which one.
Oh, yeah. I can't keep track of this.
Listeners, tweeted us about whatever that is, because I forgot.
Yeah, I forgot to.
Guys.
Greet him with a hello, Fennel.
Yeah.
If you see him on the streets. Fuckmaster in the sheets. I know I repeated that one, but I can't avoid that joke opportunity because that just came to me. What else to say about him? Well, of course, we've done different miniseries. At the end of miniseries, he, graduates to different titles, such as producer Ben Kenobi, Kylo Ben, Ben Night Shyamalan.
Yep, that was easy, that one.
Ben Sate.
Sure, it was obvious.
Yeah, and the results of our poll.
We had a poll?
We had a poll.
We podcast?
We podcast, and we had a poll. And
I missed this. Was this on our Twitter?
Yes. Yeah. With 17% coming up the rear, Alohas.
I don't even... Oh, Alohas! I get it. That's cute.
I thought so, too. It doesn't look great, but it sounds fun.
Yeah. It's very subtle said aloud.
Yes. 19% in second place. I was surprised because I thought this was going to be the winner. Say Bennything.
Oh, Say Bennything didn't make it?
Came in third place. Okay? In second place with 30%, Vanilla Sky. Now, here's the thing.
Boy.
I think that would have been the best nickname. I think we shot ourselves in the foot by mispronouncing Vanilla Sky all season.
Vanilla Sky?
Right.
Yeah.
And then we went to Vanilla Sky sometime. Okay.
Okay, but what's the winner?
And the winner with 34%, Benny Lane. He is now officially...
All right, Benny Lane.
Benny Lane.
You made it.
Is in our hearts.
Okay.
Yeah. Ben
Great
Husley.
job, guys. Yeah. Ben Husley's here, and we're talking
He's holding
James
his arms
Cameron.
up in the air.
He is.
A la
Kate Winslet.
Yes,
I mean,
on the
Leo.
On the bow of the Titanic.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You had
Kate
me.
and Leo.
We had you
But we're not
at Hello Fennel.
We're not at Kate and Leo.
We're not.
We're not even close to Kate and Leo.
This is
right
an
now.
inauspicious debut.
We
and
are at Trisha and Steve.
Now,
who are
I
the
feel-
romantic
yes.
leads of this movie.
I feel confident committing an episode to a movie that no one will fucking watch.
No.
Because every movie we're going to be talking about from here on out is one of the biggest
Is
movies
a
of all
winner.
time.
Is a
it's
winner.
insane. There are no dips at
So
this point.
we've
What a
done
run.
We've done
Insane.
a blank check guy every time who's guy or girl who's
Mhm.
been sort of early success. Oh no, crazy like bottoming out. Maybe a rebound and then ooh, something really weird, like bit of an up and down.
Mhm.
James Cameron is up, baby.
Yeah.
Basically.
He gets a bigger check every time,
Yeah.
and it clears.
With one exception, they all basically do better than the last one.
And here's the thing: the one exception, the one that bombed at the time,
yeah, quote unquote bombed. The
was
Abyss
a
is what we're talking
disappointment,
about.
right?
Yeah.
has now like undergone like a serious critical reevaluation.
Yeah,
and people love it. It's like
and
it's a beloved
It's a
movie.
groundbreaking movie. It's
Yeah.
maybe his least beloved, but it's still pretty beloved.
But that's like
Any other filmmaker would be very happy to have
Right.
the Abyss in there.
Literally groundbreaking.
Damn, that was good.
that was
Let's
that
go.
was good. Game recognized game.
Let's get out of here.
Ben's doing a lot of hand gestures. Right? He's dancing
Really
right
into
now
the
in
hand
his seat.
gestures. So, James Cameron.
Yes.
Let me give you a little backstory
Please
on
do.
Jimmy C. We call him.
Yeah,
I mean that's what I call him. Jimmy C. to his friend.
Jimmy C.
He was born in 1954
Good year.
in Ontario, Canada. I can't even say the name. I mean, he grew up in Chippewa, Ontario,
Okay.
which is, I believe, where Leo's character is from. Except they don't say Ontario.
In Titanic.
In Titanic, he's from Chippewa. I can't remember.
Oh,
well,
okay.
we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
So he's a Canadian boy.
Uh huh.
Goes to school.
Oh yeah.
Drops out of one high
Alright.
school. Yeah,
Take
exactly.
it easy, baby. Make it last all night. James was a Canadian boy.
Great. We just got a mean review saying I cut you off too much, so I didn't cut you off during that. He enrolled in college.
Uh-huh.
He dropped out of college
Cool beans.
in 74. He was a truck driver for a while
Yeah.
and started learning about special effects.
Yeah.
And then in 1977, he saw Star Wars.
Yeah.
So it's a good connection to our original miniseries.
Yes, and I believe, I might be wrong about this, but I believe at some point he wanted to be sort of a engineer. I think he was interested in sort of working in vehicular engineering or something like that.
He when he went to college, he was studying physics.
Okay.
But he didn't. Yeah. So maybe he
Gotcha.
was there pursuing, but he didn't last.
I might be misremembering this,
He
but I
didn't
remember,
hack it.
I remember him in some interview saying, like, growing up, maybe when he was younger, that was sort of his idea. But it makes sense because he has a very technical mind, both in terms of structure and machinery and pushing technology. But his films are very, like, they're very tightly made.
Yeah.
His storytelling is even very technical,
Very technical.
Yeah.
Even here.
Yes.
I just want to say, he read Sid Field's book Screenplay,
Okay.
and it occurred to him that integrating science and art was possible, according to
Right.
Wikipedia. I don't know if that's true.
Uh-huh.
And so he bought a camera. He took it apart to see how it worked. He started making little movies.
Now, true or false, he did not buy a zoo, right?
Didn't buy a zoo.
Okay. Well,
I mean, he thought about it.
yeah, I'll try not to hold that against him.
And then he started doing kind of PA work, second AD work, worked at Roger Corman Studios, started working on B movies, making special effects. Like a lot of these guys
Yeah.
who came up in the 70s and 80s, he applied his trade sort of at the bottom of the Hollywood
You do the nuts and bolts
rung.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn how to make things fast, make things efficient, whatever. And then he gets tossed this job on Piranha II: The Spawning, the film we're discussing today.
Now, you looked into the background of this film, but the first film was a Roger Corman movie.
So the first Piranha,
Yes.
Yeah, which came out in what year? 78 maybe? Yeah, 78.
Okay. And was
First-
directed by Joe Dante.
Joe Dante, written by John Sayles.
Yeah, which is a killer team.
Yeah, and it was like a very straightforward parody of Jaws.
Right.
Like it's a silly spoof of the brief craze of underwater
But then you had
attack movies.
Orca and the Deep, Orca.
Orca.
You had Orca and the Deep and all these movies, and they were sort of trying to deflate the balloon a little.
Yeah. And I've seen. Apparently, you've never seen Piranha.
I've never, and Joe Dante's one of my favorite directors.
Very,
I don't
very
know why
funny
that's a blind spot.
movie.
Yeah.
It's sort of tongue-in-cheek, gory. Mocking the kind of girls in bikinis and sort of all of the window dressing of these kinds of movies,
Mhm.
right? The sort of cheap Hollywood side of stuff. Produced by Roger Corman.
Right.
the master of schlock.
Yeah, and famous for giving a lot of filmmakers their start.
Yes,
from
very
Coppola,
much.
Scorsese, Jonathan Demme, a lot of Ron Howard. A lot of these guys come out of the Corman School, and the thing he would always say is like, if you make a movie good enough for me, you'll never have to make a movie for me ever again. You know?
Yeah.
It was sort of very low stakes, and he got stuff made. So he makes the first one. It was his attempt to capitalize on the Jaws craze. This film has no creative members in common with the first one.
So just Roger Corman was surprised by Piranha doing well. Piranha did really well.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's sort of the problem with Roger Corman is he was just making these. He didn't have a major sense of what was actually going to do well or be
Well, he's
good.
also like quantity
He's
over
churning 'em out.
quality.
He's
That's
churning
the
'em out.
idea. It's a factor line.
So
right.
Piranha actually did well, but in his contract, he didn't have he didn't retain the rights. The
Okay.
rights went to like the executive producers, and
Including this Italian guy? Was he
no,
one
no,
of the
they
producers?
took it to the Italian guy.
Interesting. So the last people who had any creative involvement sold it off to other people. This film's entirely new team, which is kind of like Zombie 2, which is like the Italian sequel to
Yeah, totally different.
Dawn of the
movie.
Dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeff Shetterman, who is one of these guys, took it to Ovidio Asanitis, who said he would put up the money, and the one thing he wanted was that the fish could fly.
Well,
Piranha 1, fish are in the ocean. Piranha 2, the fish have wings.
spoiler, he got his wish.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
He wished for a flying fish, and he got it. The fish have wings in this movie.
So first, they hired a guy called Miller Drake, who is another Corman guy. Apparently, the director came up to him and said, "Want to direct the movie?" And he said, "Sure."
I'm free next Tuesday. Why not?
They took him to the producer, and the producer said, "Fine." I'm getting this from a very good Entertainment Weekly piece from 2010 that was like an oral history of all the Piranha movies.
Okay.
Like, including the remakes that they later made.
Yes. This was for the release of Piranha 3D.
Now, he wanted to bring back some of the cast from Piranha 1. He wanted to bring back the lead scientist guy who gets eaten up. He wanted to have him, like, be all, like, scarred and, like, have holes in his face or
to
something.
which I say, cool.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sounds real cool.
And, like, he got, like, makeup guys, like, working on this. And it seems like Asanitis, the Italian producer, was just like, forget it, and fired him. So then they call up James Cameron, who's like another guy.
Yeah.
Like he'd worked on a second AD on like some Corman thing, and there was this story about him, and I like this story. And this is the first seed we have of James Cameron. Now, some people say it's apocryphal, but they say it's true in this.
Okay.
That he was working on, he was working on some Corman, as a second AD on a movie called Galaxy of Terror. And he had to direct some worms, like, writhing around in the ground. And they, like, roll, and the worms aren't moving. Like, they have these worms, and they're not moving. And so he, like, rigs up, like, an electrical cord into the dirt.
Yeah.
And he's like, when I say action, turn it on. And, like, they turn it on, like, shock the worms, and the worms start writhing around. And this was, like, what convinced them, hey, this guy, James Cameron, he's got a future in the movies.
He's a problem solver.
He could make worms move around.
And he is also, I mean, the legacy of James Cameron is this is one of the most confident men in history.
Yeah.
He knows what he wants and he gets it done. I'm on the IMDb trivia page for Piranha 2 The Spawning, and there's a really interesting trivia fact here. The piranhas in this sequel developed an additional skill which they did not have in Piranha 1978. Period. They could fly. Period.
So
that's a trivia fact for this movie.
So, I think in last week's Under Siege episode, we briefly talked about Star Trek Beyond.
Yes.
And how when they hit pre-production, like the one thing Justin Lin was like sure about was like, I really want the Enterprise to crash in this movie. That has to
I want them to tear it apart.
Yeah,
right.
that has to be a big set piece.
Yeah.
And it really does seem like this Italian guy, and this was not uncommon especially in the 70s. These sort of like exploitation movies funded by Italian studios. Yeah. The Italian guy's like, look, I got the money for you. And I mean, it probably cost like $1 million to make this movie, something like that. But listen. They've got to fly. They better fly. Those piranha better fly.
What's like the famous John
Just
Peters
FYI,
story about the giant
piranha,
spider?
Yeah, John Peters and his giant spider,
just
which he eventually worked into Wild Wild West. But he wanted it in like Superman.
Right.
Yeah.
He wanted to get a giant spider in a movie. He became obsessed with this idea of there being a giant
metal
spider.
spider.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, well,
Well,
yes,
sure.
of course. You like things big.
Yeah, you and John Peters, like if that had ever happened, you two just united somehow. That you would have been holy terror.
Could you imagine John Peters and Ben running a studio
Can you
together?
imagine just Ben running a studio? That'd be great.
We need to start a
I
studio.
just imagine him like sitting in a chair and he's like, I like it, but bigger. Have you thought about this? Bigger. Wet. Make him wet.
Not
All right.
wet enough.
These
I
are-
want
these-
them soaked, baby.
These are callbacks to our old episodes. So, guys, if you're jumping on with James Cameron, listen back. We've got so many great episodes.
God, and what a good entry point this is going to be for new listeners.
Piranha 2.
The Spawning!
So, James
Very
Cameron.
disappointed by the lack of Todd McFarlane's Spawn in this movie. I thought there was going to be more of him.
What? There's no spawning in this movie. I mean,
No.
there is. We're told that they have spawned, I guess. But they are already there once the movie begins.
Yeah, I mean, that's like if you called, like, you know, an Indiana Jones movie, like, The Birth of Indiana Jones. And it's like, well, because, you know, at some point he was born.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't
right,
happen
right.
within this movie.
He was alive, so he definitely
he's
was
alive,
born.
so he was born at some point. At some point, these piranhas must have spawned. But by the time this film starts, they're already, like, at full force.
So apparently, Cameron, obviously, he's a nobody second AD. He's
Yeah.
very excited to get this opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about the movie now, but the thing about the production was it was very underfinanced.
Uh-huh.
And James Cameron was really trying to make it pop. The sequences he worked on, like it seems like going a little over budget to actually make the movies seem good.
Yeah.
And so after a while, he was kind of fired.
Yeah.
And the Italian producer guy, Acevita, directed a lot of it himself.
So
He cut the movie himself.
So that's what I read.
Cameron reportedly broke into the editing
Yes.
studio, cut his own version, but that was not accepted.
What I read is that they, the Acevita guy started sort of being really heavy on his shoulder,
Yeah.
right? Demanding rewrites and stuff like that. And then also, but Cameron remained the guy shooting the film on a day-to-day basis, but they were telling
He
him
was
what
around,
to do.
but yeah.
He wasn't able to look at the dailies, and they were editing it together. So he was never, like, left the movie. But
No.
he doesn't really consider this his debut. But I think...
Cameron says, right, his debut is Terminator,
Right.
pretty much.
He doesn't deny this movie existing,
No,
but he's like, that
he-
wasn't fully my movie.
He makes fun of it. He calls, he's called on 60 Minutes, he called Asinitis. Asinitis is the name.
Yeah.
Called him like a sort of a sleazy guy who wanted to like throw a bunch of penthouse models into scenes and, stuff like that.
And you
And-
feel that, like, there are certain scenes in this, specifically kind of like the TNA scenes that play a lot broader, where you're like, that doesn't feel like Cameron.
Who knows? Maybe Cameron was like, hey, I get it. It's a B movie. Like, I
Right.
get what you want out of me.
But there are certain scenes in this movie that feel very Cameron-y. I mean, it's interesting to look at early films of directors like this,
Oh,
right?
it is. Definitely. Well, we'll get to that. I just have one more thing to tell
Yeah.
you about. I'm just giving you guys
Oh, yeah, yes.
So, according to Carol Davis, who I think is an actress in the movie,
Mm-hmm.
there was a big scene where Asinitis was doing a shot of the spawning. I guess it's when they're coming out of the water at that party,
Okay.
the fish.
Yeah.
And he, according to her, she says, all right, everybody, we're all going to say we wanted a fish. We wanted a fish. That's what she said happened. There you go. That's in that article.
That's another thing was, like,
And no one understood what he was saying.
if you look at the end credits of the film, the entire crew is Italian.
Yeah.
And apparently
And
most of them didn't speak English, and Cameron had a very hard time
And
communicating
I think
with
it
them.
was shot in Jamaica.
Yes.
It sounds like
Shot in, like, the Cayman Islands and Jamaica and Italy. It was shot in all three with an all-Italian crew, American actors, and a Canadian director.
it sounds like a tough early process. Like we talked about Shyamalan's first real film, Wide
Yeah.
Awake,
Right.
where he's kind of meddled with, right?
Yeah.
Like by Miramax and by Harvey Weinstein, and
Yeah.
they take the cut away from him. They don't release it.
Yeah.
He learns an early, like, valuable lesson,
Right.
right? Like the Wachowskis. Brown's so good.
Brown's perfect.
But I mean, it
Yeah.
can happen with some of these.
Which is
guys.
incredible because it was Dino De Laurentiis. Like, that seems like a situation where they would be meddled with, but somehow that
Well,
movie was...
they really tried to avoid being meddled with, I guess.
Yeah.
They did a good job of it. But anyway, it just feels like that same story where Cameron is just learning like what can go wrong, the
Right.
value of having total creative control, and of writing something yourself. I mean, he is an uncredited writer on this. I don't know how much work he did on this script.
Yeah. I do think that's the biggest takeaway from this movie, is this movie is more interesting to watch as an origin story of how Cameron became the director he became, rather than like, these are the seeds of what he was good at that hadn't blossomed it. Because see little bits of it, but it like doesn't feel... It doesn't have the same sort of overarching Cameron feel that every other movie does. But I think I remember reading this interview with Wes Anderson where he talked about working on Bottle Rocket.
Sure.
And he felt like there were arguments he lost or things where he was just too tired and they didn't get things done, right? Wes Anderson, obviously a director who's known for being like in complete control of his craft and micromanaging every detail from the set to the lines to the performances and camera movements and everything. And he felt like that was a movie where he settled sometimes. Sure. And he's proud of the movie, but he watches it and he sees the points where he
sounds like Wes Anderson. Well, I mean, directors tend to be in control.
Yes, and Wes Anderson certainly
top of the line.
If you were going to like armchair diagnose him, he's the first guy you would throw that onto. But he said that he decided from that point on, starting with Rushmore, that he was like, I don't care if I lose sleep, I don't care what I have to do. Like I'm going to make everything exactly the way I want to make it. And this kind of feels to me like an even greater example of that, where like. Here's a movie where they literally were wrestling control away from him on a day-to-day basis, and he was like, I'm never going to lose an argument
We're
ever
talking about
again.
a director who's quite famous for being a control freak.
Right, exactly.
I mean...
But that's where this film comes into play.
I get what you're saying.
Because this movie's like all over the map. Right, yeah. But that's what I find interesting about watching this. Is like, this is clearly such a compromised movie with some interesting glimpses of stuff, and then from here on out, he never makes a movie that isn't exactly what he wants to make.
Absolutely.
And he goes to being like the first guy to make a $100 million movie, the first guy to make a $200 million movie, and then we still don't know exactly how much Avatar cost because I don't think anyone ever wants to disclose that information.
Yeah.
And the combined cost of the next 4 Avatar movies is going to be astronomical.
Right.
But the idea is like not only is he not going to like lose a battle with like the studio, with his crew, like he's famously kind of argumentative with crews or actors who try to oppose him and this and that, but also like if you say this can't be done, he's going to get people to give him amounts of money that have never been given to a movie before.
And he's done it multiple times.
No one will ever make a $100 million movie. And he's like, oh yeah, then how do you expect me to make a Metal Man?
Right.
And they're like, fine, here's $100 million. Like, he just wins. The dude just fucking wins.
He's a winner.
But Piranha 2: The Spawning is a bit of a loss.
It's his big L.
Yeah.
The big L on his. Everyone has one, and this is his.
And last IMDb trivia fact. As of 2015, this is the only film James Cameron has directed that does not have a title starting with the letter T or A.
Okay. Terminator, Aliens, Avatar, True Lies, Titanic. I get it. Abyss.
Kind of interesting.
The Abyss is both kind of.
TA.
Yeah.
Terminator's TT, the first
TT.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Terminator 2.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
There it is.
We should respond to that. So Podnator Judgment Cast, you might go, hey, where's the 2? Where's the 2 in that title?
Where's the 2?
We want people to listen to the show. We don't want people to think that there's a first Podinator that they need to listen to in order to follow. So we're going Podnator : Judgment Cast. I know it's not correct, and we're usually such sticklers for accuracy, but please forgive us.
I'm sorry, guys, but yeah, I mean, or else we would have been called Poppy Wood. It doesn't matter.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Forget the title. You know what? Forget the title.
Blank check.
That's what we're called.
Podnator Judgment Cast.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Piranha 2: The Spawning.
Piranha 2: The Spawning. Now,
Piranha 2:
little
The Spawning.
setup. In Piranha 1,
Yeah.
there was a bunch of piranhas.
Okay.
I guess they were created in a secret lab.
Yeah.
Then they escaped the lab. They ate a bunch of people.
Okay, so that is a thing in Piranha 1 that they're sort of militarized.
Yes.
That they were a project gone awray.
That's right.
Because
I believe that usually North American like beach towns don't have piranhas. They are rainforest creatures, I think.
Yep. And I think, I mean, look, I haven't seen it. You have. But like Dante and Sales are smart guys. They know what they're doing. They were playing into the absurdity of the inherent concept and just trying to like the joke of like.
Well, because how small can the fish be while it's still scary? It's a funny.
It becomes
idea.
comical and this and that. This movie plays it pretty fucking straight.
Yeah.
This movie is not a comedy at all.
This movie feels like a bad remake of Jaws. Whereas the original movie is trying to make fun of that idea.
Yeah.
This movie begins with 2 people scuba diving into like an abandoned wreck.
Yeah.
To have sex in it.
Yeah, and
underwater.
Here's the thing. I don't know if I can. Ben's doing hand gestures again. I don't know if I can give the movie credit for this. Like sometimes the things that are kind of cool about movies, especially if you're watching a movie like this that is not very good, and you're looking for little aspects that jump out to you, are accidental.
Right.
And it might be like, look, just the limitations of film stock at the time, the limitations of the budget where they weren't able to light properly. I'm also watching like fucking, an SD like streaming copy on my Amazon Fire tablet.
Good job, buddy.
So it might just be like, whatever. But one thing I like about this movie, whether it's intentional or not, is this movie gets really dark. Like the night scenes in this movie are like pitch black and you can
Uh-huh.
barely see anything.
There's not a shot in this movie that's good. Maybe there's a few. There's a few shots in this movie that are good.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it's intentional. I think they wanted more things to be visible, but accidentally, I think it's kind of interesting because it's one movie where, like, when night hits the movie, it's just like, well, it's night. You can't see anything. It's tough to see. It's night.
and there's, I mean, the
You
movie
know,
probably the movie's biggest set piece is at night.
Correct.
The big beach party sequence.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. The underwater stuff looks pretty good.
Which is, I mean, these are the
Well,
scenes.
so this is the thing. So I queue up this movie and I'm like, this is going to be a chore. Like, what are we really going to get out of James Cameron from this? And then, like, the first 5 minutes of the movie are underwater, which is his number one obsession.
He loves the ocean.
I mean, it's like, right?
He's obsessed, yes.
And it is funny to see, oh, yeah, right there from the start. There he is doing some decent underwater photography of a naked chick and a naked dude trying to bone underwater and getting eaten by a piranha.
But kind of tellingly, he seems far more interested in what's going on underwater, like, around them than the sex.
Absolutely. And the movie can't have been expensive.
No.
But I don't know. He does a good job doing a lot of set pieces underwater. It must have been hard.
I think it's the loving gaze. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
yes, he did.
Like the ocean, you mean?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, his male gaze is just towards aquatic life.
Indeed.
You know, like not towards the fucking that's happening. But I think that's like, you can tell when things are lovingly photographed. Like, even if you don't have the technical abilities, you know, the time and the resources to make a beautiful painterly shot. It's like, if someone really loves their subject, it kind of shows, which is where the male gaze comes in. This question of like, oh, when directors are oogling the actresses, you know, from behind the camera. And this is just like, this dude fucking wants to jerk off in the ocean. You know?
I mean, so this is a movie with a lot of TNA, as they used to say.
Which he seems pretty indifferent to.
I was going to say, I mean, it's not trying very hard to seem at all like sexy or tittillating. Like, well, there are women in it.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're naked, and oftentimes they're in, like, you know, loose-fitting dresses or bikinis.
There's a lot of jiggling. There's also a lot of no bra, like, loose shirt in this movie.
What there isn't a lot of is, like, lingering or kind of, like, very obvious sort of, you know, softcore kind of stuff.
And
I don't think that's even, like, because James Cameron is some radical feminist, although certainly he later makes movies with, like, interesting enough female
and I
characters.
think actually the lead female character in this movie is kind of interesting in how she's depicted.
Definitely...
She's a proto... sort of,
exactly. Proto-Cameron heroine.
Yes. I think it's disinterest. I don't think it's like...
Right. It's just kind of like,
I don't think it's that
he's
that woke. I think that's not what he wants to fucking make. You know, you don't want to give him, like, a trophy for, like, avoiding the cliches because it's still in there. But I think he's just, like, that's not why he's making a fucking movie, you know? Mm-hmm. And there is, like, you know, there is gratuitous nudity in this movie. But there are actually a lot of moments where it feels like there should be nudity and he's not doing it.
That's what I was going to say. There's nudity in the first 20 minutes. There's like a good... And then it kind of stops because, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But it does almost feel like they're like, what? I already did that. Like, you know, right? You got it, right?
Right. But it feels like he's checking that off the list. Like that was a contractual obligation.
Piranhas?
Like,
we want some... They have wings.
It feels like one of the conditions was, okay, condition 1, the piranhas have to have wings. Check. Condition 2, at least 8 total tits in the movie.
Yeah, right.
And he was like, I'll get out of the way in the first 15 minutes. I'll get it done. I'll get it's like, you know, he's trying to load up his college course load so he can get through all the requirements and like
exactly.
Because here's another thing there's not a lot of in this movie. Piranhas.
No.
There's not a ton of piranha scenes in this movie.
I can't tell if it's because the like special effects budget was maybe a little spare.
Right.
And they had this like piranha with wings thing that they wanted to do, and maybe like there was only so much they could do. I don't know. I mean, according to this EW article, it was on a stick.
Yeah, it looks like it.
And they would kind of attach it to you and then wiggle it around, and then you'd have a little prosthetic, you know, blood coming out of your neck or whatever.
Yeah.
That was the extent of it. Like, if you pitched me piranhas with wings, I'm imagining swarms of piranhas in the air.
Right.
You know, like a cloud of piranhas descending on me.
But
and skeletonizing me.
Skeletonizing's a good word. Here's what I find interesting, okay?
Yeah.
Of course, this movie had, like, budgetary limitations. They can't get a full swarm going. You assume that they were sort of handcuffed and how much piranha stuff they could shoot.
The first one cost $1 million. I'm guessing this one costs less.
I'm guessing $500,000.
Yeah, because the first one looks better than this one.
Yeah.
By a ways. I mean, Joe Dante's a good director, but James Cameron's a good director.
And Corman, Corman kind of gives a shit. Like, as much as we were saying it's quantity over quality, he does, like, want to make movies that people like. Whereas these guys, I think, were a little more craven.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting to me is, like, you look at Jaws, where famously the shark didn't work and it was too expensive.
Absolutely.
And, like, he had to rewrite on the fly and make the shark more of a looming threat than something you saw, or it was glimpses and this and that. This movie, it feels like, at a lot of points, like, they're sort of talking about the piranhas in, like, a way where they're trying to crack the conspiracy. But there's not constantly this looming threat of, like, the piranhas could attack at any moment. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Like, Jaws, from the moment the shark hits, you're like, the shark could come up at any fucking time. Like, there's an uneasiness of the whole movie. And a lot of those lesser Jaws ripoffs have that.
Right.
And this, it feels like once every 15 minutes, you're like, oh, right, piranhas.
Yeah, this is a... So, I was... All right.
Because there's not necessarily less piranha footage in this than Jaws. It just feels like the piranha stuff is less of a focus than the shark is in Jaws.
I mean, maybe he just started, and, like, again, the first movie's a joke. This one's not.
Right. They're
He
not
was
letting
like,
him... Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Like, how scary is a piranha going to be? Piranhas aren't that scary.
And James Cameron's famously kind of a literal person and doesn't have much of a sense of humor. You know, his
Sure.
like his comedy is often the most derided element of his
This movie
films.
lacks a sense of humor.
Right, but he's not a guy who knows how to do tongue-in-cheek. He's very earnest. You know?
Yep.
He's very self-serious in his concepts, regardless of how ridiculous they are. And so you could see that, like, I don't think he even had the ability to make this a parody on the level of Dante's Piranha. Would that be what the producers wanted him to do?
Dante's Piranha was the sequel to Dante's Peak, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes. But yeah, I mean, the piranha stuff feels indifferent. Like,
I mean, let's think of, like, what are some piranha things that happen? There's the couple who have sex, and then I guess a piranha eats them.
I guess.
I mean, and then you find the corpse. They find the corpse.
Which
and
is like 40 minutes later.
Yeah. What happens in this movie? How did it pad to an hour and a half?
Bizarre. Yeah. It's like 40 minutes later. Okay, so let's go through the plot of this movie.
Okay.
You want to try?
Sure. So, like I said, there were some piranhas last time. Okay?
Yeah.
Got that? Some people try to have sex in the sea. I don't mean on the surface of the water.
Nope.
I don't mean in, like, a boat or on a dinghy.
Uh-uh.
Like, they want to go underwater and have sex down in the water.
They're doing like Cameron deep dive fucking.
And they're also taking off their oxygen source
Yeah.
to make out and
What's their
fuck.
plan?
I don't know.
What's
It's
their...
weird.
And they're in, like, a wreck. Like a rusty shipwreck.
Which is like, talk about fucking like bloodborne diseases.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
do
saying?
You
Like,
want to
that's
get
like
tetanus doing
right.
this? Come on.
Yeah, you're naked next to some rusty scrap metal.
Boy, oh boy. So, they get eaten by a piranha.
They do indeed.
Cut to a bunch of tourists are taking diving courses in a hotel.
Yeah.
On a beach. Do we know where this is?
I think Cayman Islands.
It's a Caribbean island.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And on one of their dives, the student gets chomped up.
Yeah.
And then the lead lady, who is a diving instructor, who
Right.
is played by Trisha O'Neill.
And what I think is a pretty solid performance.
She's pretty good. Anne Kimbra is her name. She's Anne. I do love in the credits when the credits roll and it's like,
Anne,
just gives
Jack,
her
Jim.
Yeah, the names are like it's the most bland names they could think of.
Which is incredible because Lance Henriksen's character is almost exclusively referred to as Kimbra throughout the entire movie. They all call him by his last name, and in the end credits it goes, Lance Henriksen, Dave!
Dave, friendly Dave.
It's like, I don't think anyone ever called him Dave the whole movie. They
We'll
call
get
him
to
Kimbra.
him because he's obviously the star of the movie, right?
Well, I mean,
Henriksen.
he's the guy who pops.
Yeah, he pops like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So Trisha O'Neill, the only thing I know her from is she played the captain of the Enterprise C in one episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Interesting.
A very good episode called Yesterday's Enterprise.
Okay.
And so I guess that's a bit of pop culture marginalia, but it's literally a one episode appearance.
Yeah, and she hasn't done that much. I mean, is she
Apparently
still
she's
working
in
on-
Titanic.
Okay.
I would assume in a very
That's
small role.
nice.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good about that.
Yeah.
He remembers you.
Well, Lance, obviously.
You know, she was in the A-Team. She was in
Okay.
Airwolf. She was in
Okay,
old
she
Remington
was doing
Steele.
TV.
She was a working actress in the 80s. Anyway, so she's a diving instructor.
Yeah.
But, she thinks something's up because one of her students got torn into a million pieces by something and has holes all over his body.
Interesting theory.
Something's going on.
Hmm.
And I guess she's like wanted, at one point, she's like considered under suspicion for murder.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. So we see her, we very early on see her with her son in their hotel room.
Yeah, okay, so Ben was talking about this, and
Yeah.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Yeah.
This scene's creepy.
It's not the only one.
No.
Their relationship.
throughout.
Yeah.
But it actually...
You're like, are these two, like, fucking? Are they fucking.
It feels like it.
But
Yeah.
I realized, like, I didn't know any of the background of this being, like, Italians, like, involved, and now it makes perfect sense.
Wow.
The
They're
mother,
physical
son,
people. They're very, hey, come on.
You love your
Is that what they're
mother.
like?
I mean, you.
Yeah, hey, come on now. I love my mother.
Mozzarella.
Yeah.
Wow, we're really pissing off
Yeah.
the Italians.
Well, no, but that is Italian culture where y'all know the final boss level of Super Mario Brothers is the Mario Brothers tag teaming their mom.
Oh dear.
That's the final boss. Most people don't get to that level.
Bowser's not
Wait,
actually. He's
guys.
there. He's just watching.
Guys,
just watching.
I'm
He's
reading.
peeping.
I'm sorry. I'm reading the Wikipedia entry for this for the first time, like the Wikipedia entry for Piranha 2. This is outsider art, whoever wrote the plot description.
Okay,
of this.
please.
Like, for example.
Let's go off of this. Let's run through the plot off of their description.
It's long. I'm not going to read it all, but I'll read you
Okay.
some sentences. Steve, a police officer, refuses to listen to Anne about her wanting to have a look at the body because she needs to know what's happened, period. The death does not seem to match the attack pattern of any marine life in this area, which she knows better than anyone, period. For her to not know what killed a diver is a dangerous sign, period. This is the Wikipedia. lot of very inferences being made here.
Okay, so this is what I like this movie does, right?
Steve intercepts Gabby, a dynamic fisherman. Oh, a dynamite fisherman.
Oh.
Right, he fishes with dynamite. That's right. There's a character who fishes with dynamite.
He's a dynamic dynamite fisherman.
And threatens to confiscate their boat, but as Gabby explains, Steve, Anne, and he, are old friends.
Yeah.
This is all happening.
Here's what I like about
He's
this movie.
building out an ensemble.
Yeah. They introduce Anne early on, right? She's creepy with her son.
Creepy with a son, diving instructor, the usual.
Okay, no man in the picture, right?
No, ma'am.
Then we're introduced to Kimbra, and he's dealing with Gabby, this sort of scene you're talking about. That's the first time I think we see him.
Yeah.
And we get a sense of him, but
Played by Lance Henriksen.
yes, who's just so fucking good. in this.
Lance Henriksen's the best. And
Yeah, he
is
rules.
in 3 Cameron movies. And it's sad that he's not in more.
Yeah,
Actually,
he's just a genre legend, right?
yeah.
my roommate mentioned that he has been killed by an alien,
Yes.
a predator,
Yes.
and a Terminator.
That's right.
That's pretty fucking.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's,
I think
that's
he's
quite
he's
an honor.
Yeah.
the only person to be killed by an alien, a predator, and a Terminator. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, because I think, Paxton has...
He's not in a Predator, is he?
He's in Predator 2.
I haven't seen Predator.
I've
2.
never been able to watch Predator 2 all the way through. I own it on VHS, and every time I try to put it on, I fall asleep. Every time I've tried to put it on, I've only ever made it 20 minutes in, but Paxton's definitely in it.
Yeah.
He gets killed by an alien. Spoiler, we'll get to that in a future episode.
and by a Terminator and
Right,
Terminator. Yeah.
Right.
But, well, I don't know. Anyway, he's up there.
Interesting.
And Lance Henriksen, great actor.
Yeah.
Just kind of steely, slightly demented. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something so special. He was on that TV show Millennium for a few years. That is one of the weirdest shows that ever aired on broadcast TV.
Uh-huh. That was an X-Files spinoff?
It was by the creator of the X-Files. It wasn't really a spin-off.
Did they sort of backdoor
They
pilot
over-
it? They introduced him.
They
Or they
didn't-
overlapped it.
They
Okay.
overlapped later. Like, Millennium
Okay.
got canceled, and then they just had a real Millennium finale happen in the X-Files.
That's fascinating.
Chris Carter who's created both shows.
Yeah.
He's a weird dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, but love Lance Henriksen.
Me
And,
too.
and I think they just met on this movie. There's a story about his costume costs like no money. It
Uh-huh.
was like he hated it.
Yeah.
It was basically like a store cop costume.
Yeah.
And he was sitting at lunch with Cameron and complaining about it. Like, this is the worst costume I've ever worn in my life. And a waiter walked by and he had like epaulets. He had like a little
Yeah.
bit, and he was like, "Let me buy that off you for $75." Like, and like just to put a little dressing on this costume. So there you go.
That's cool.
Lance Henriksen's story.
But
But he's in Terminator.
yeah.
He
He's
was
an alien.
Cameron's first choice for playing the Terminator.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
That's fascinating.
But he is in it, and then he's in Aliens. Yeah.
He
So
does
he was
have-
an early
Yeah.
Cameron guy.
Yeah, God, he's beautiful in Aliens. That's such a good performance.
It's incredible. I mean, we'll
We'll get
shower
to it.
him with love.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's wonderful in the Terminator too.
Yeah. So here's an embarrassing
He's a
confession.
good guy to what?
I have only seen the original Terminator once, and it
Oh.
was like
Many years ago.
15, 16 years ago.
Why haven't you seen it a bunch of times?
I don't know, because I rewatch Terminator 2 all the time.
Sure. Well, Terminator 2 is very rewatchable.
Yeah.
Whereas Terminator 1 is like kind of scary and dark and moody and weird.
That's the thing. I think I saw both of them when I was like 11 or 12, and Terminator 2 was much more my wavelength than Terminator 1. So I kept on going like, oh, I like the Terminator, but I'm just never going to rewatch it. I've rewatched certain scenes. I own it. I just like have not rewatched it since then.
I had the same experience with Alien, where I remember as a kid the sequels were more my speed because they were just more accessible. But like having rewatched it like very recently, I'm like, holy fuck, this movie is amazing.
Yeah. I'm really excited to rewatch the Terminator. But as a 12-year-old, like it was fucking Terminator 2 is what I want to see because of
when
John
you're
Connor.
12,
right?
Yeah, it has John Connor,
And the T-1000 fucking rules.
It does rule.
So they introduce Kimbra and Anne separately, right? I can't tell if I just wasn't paying attention, if it was hard to follow because the film is a little sloppy.
Yeah, a little sloppily edited.
Right, or if this is actually sort of what's going on. But, like, we get Anne and Kimbra separately before it's revealed that Kimbra's her husband, right?
True.
But they're separated.
It's a very weird relationship, but I actually kind of like that they don't ever totally define it.
Yeah.
Don't we see... Doesn't he see her in bed with a man and get really pissed off?
Yes, that's later in the film.
That's like, and we're still like, wait, why is he so mad? Like, it takes a while for us. It took a while for me to piece it together.
At that point, it's been set up. No, because when they wake her up, he goes like, "Oh no, it's your husband." You know,
right?
They always talk about him as husband in the present tense. You get the sense, obviously, the relationship is fractured, but I don't know if they're actually separated. They're certainly not divorced. He's not an ex, and the way I think we figure out that he's married to her. Well, first, I think you see her with the son. You see Kimbra with what's his name, Dynamite Fisherman.
I think his name is Gabby.
Gabby, yes. And then you see Kimbra coming across his son, and you go, oh, this is his dad? He calls him dad.
Right.
So it's like, are they estranged? And then later when they end up in a scene together, there's not a lot of warmth, but they talk about being married.
Right.
And it feels like they're kind of married name only now. They've really grown apart.
Something happened.
And he's
a cop.
Yes.
She's a diving instructor.
And he's married to his work. I mean, that's the Henriksen thing.
First of all, he's not just a cop. He's a boat cop.
He's a boat cop.
Boat cop.
He's a boat cop. Henriksen, you know, as you said, he's good at the steely sort of focus, this sort of very calm, almost unnerving intensity, you know?
He's got this...
He's a laser beam.
Yeah, it's his eyes. It's something about the way he looks at the camera or people. It's weird.
But there's something kind of broken about him.
Right.
Which is the added element that makes him compelling. Why I think he kind of wouldn't be good as the Terminator, actually.
Yeah, well, I think that's what Cameron saw in him as the Terminator, is that weird sort of robotic like look he has. But I think you're right. I mean, it's just impossible.
He's got a little too much heart.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's the thing. And that's what makes Bishop so perfect, is that it's like, you know.
I mean, Bishop's, the character, is supposed to have heart, of course. But
that's what I'm saying. But Bishop is like tailor-made for everything that's interesting about Lance Henriksen.
Right.
This character is so boilerplate, but he adds all these weird levels onto it just because he's such a compulsively watchable actor. And he holds so much back.
Sure.
Like, he's one of those actors where you can tell that he's doing a lot less than he could, and not in a lazy way, but he, like, doesn't care about having to telegraph anything to you.
Mm-hmm.
He sort of just trusts himself, and it makes you lean forward because you're like, this guy, like, he's holding shit back from us. Like, that's a power move to be like, I don't have to play all my cards. I got this. You know, I'm only going to play them if I need them. But yeah, we're introduced to the two of them separately, and then it's like they're together, but they certainly aren't spending a lot of time together. He certainly seems like a workaholic. She, you know, has a job, but is much more focused on, like, quality of life. And there's this guy coming around who's definitely, like, flirting with her.
And his name is Tyler Sherman.
And Kimbra's, like, eyeballing him.
Yeah, he's got his eyes on him.
He's like, what the fuck's your intention here? Yeah.
He is played by Steve Marichuk.
Yeah. Now, can I ask, what had Henriksen done before this? Because in the credits, I think he's third billed, but he's got a box around his name. And was it just like they knew, like, oh, he's the guy? Because they put a rectangle around him, which was sometimes a contractual obligation if you weren't first billed, but they want you to know that this guy's important.
He was in Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh, right. He was in Network.
He's in Network. He's in Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Right.
So, and he always cops. He's in Omen 2.
Yeah.
He's in The Visitor, always playing cops.
So he's in some huge movies playing very small parts.
Roles. But, you know, he's building up, you know, and then he's...
Network, he's great. And in Network, he's the executive who's trying to negotiate the deal with the Black Panther type group. Yeah.
I love him.
He's so good.
He's in so many, you know, he's in Prince of the City. He's in Jagged Edge. He's
he did like 3 Lumet movies.
Yeah. He's in On Dangerous Ground. He's so good in Aliens. Obviously, wait.
Right.
What am I thinking of that he's so good in? Hard Target, the John Woo movie.
Oh, I've never seen that.
John Woo. Yeah, he's great.
He's good.
Love him.
Okay, so but there is this interesting thing where it's like, Anne is like not sexualized at all. The film is about her having an affair.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly. I mean, there's plenty of people, like, there are these 2 basically bikini models.
Right.
Who we cut to a few times. Their job is to wear swimsuits. And
their tits are out on several scenes.
Jump,
when they're not,
around.
they're jiggling a lot. And then they get into this fucking subplot where they go into the kitchen, try to steal food, and there's like a stuttering idiot
They flirt
there.
with a stuttering chef.
Right, and they're like, "You ever slept with 2 girls at once?" He's like, "No." And then they have him bring the food over, and then they tell him to go fuck off, and he jumps in the water to try to get after that.
As Wikipedia puts it, Jai and Loretta, a pair of women,
oh, interesting.
arrive on a large boat.
Yeah.
Full stop. By their own admission, they are sea bandits.
Yeah.
Full stop. Yeah. Anyway.
They don't really amount to anything, and that feels like an Italian interference.
Yeah.
You know?
They get eaten
even
by flying piranhas.
Right, and even just the chef character is so much broader than everything else he's doing.
That's true.
There's
yes.
also that old woman who's really horny, who
Yeah,
appears in the beginning and the end, and
What
nowhere
is-
in the middle.
What is with her?
I don't know.
She's really weird.
Yeah. So
That's weird, that part.
really weird.
Because you're like, is this supposed to be funny? Like, what is why are you including this? Like, it's not, obviously it's not like exploitative, like TNA stuff.
So that feels like Italian interference where like 80% of the way into production, they were like, oh, this movie has no jokes. This guy is very serious.
I mean, it has no joke.
Right. We got to include like some wacky characters. So like stuttering chef.
Stuttering chef,
Horny
come on down.
old lady. You know, it's like all these like big broad characters that like don't really pay off to anything, don't really amount to anything. I mean, the horny old lady certainly does nothing in the fucking movie. They set her up at the beginning where she's DTF, and then later in the film she knocks on a door with a bottle of champagne and a plate of oysters, and it's like, you know, they're an aphrodisiac. And then the door opens further and there's a naked woman behind him, which this is another interesting Cameron touch, talking about like how disinterested he seems in the cheesecake aspects of the movie.
Yeah.
The woman's naked, and he frames her only from, like, the collarbone up.
Yeah.
And even the dancing, the crazy sea pirate food stealers, whatever they fucking call them, the 2 young girls who are topless throughout a lot of the movie, like, he will cut to close-ups where their breasts are out of frame.
Oh, yeah. No, he's not.
And that's, like, against the school of what you're supposed to do in this type of movie.
What we were saying over and over is, like, it doesn't feel like he's doing it right. Like, it feels
like he's doing it wrong because he just doesn't care.
And what he wants to get right are the underwater scenes.
Yes.
And the attacks, like the piranha attack scenes. He's trying as best he can is to, like, invest them with a little tension, make the action, make it, like, some sort of sense. Like, like, have the piranhas look as realistic as possible, which basically involves us not seeing them except when they're, like, wriggling around, like, really fast.
But I also think, I mean, you talking about, like, how does this movie pad out an hour and 40 minutes? The main thing I think he seems invested in, just as sort of maybe, like, an experiment, like a petri dish for what he was going to do later on.
You know, I'm having a thought. I got a gripe.
Ben's
really.
having a thought.
God, Ben's got a gripe.
Like, all right, so they're mutant piranhas, correct?
Military bred or something.
Flying piranhas.
Why do they have to be the same size as a normal piranha?
Oh,
great question.
Classic Ben gripe.
Because it's like they're trying to scare us with this idea of like tiny little piranhas are gonna rip me apart. So make them just like 3 or 4 times bigger.
Oh wow, I didn't think you were gonna go in that direction. I thought you were gonna argue for them to be smaller.
Ooh, actually, I like that.
Tiny
Microscopic.
piranhas.
Oh, they go inside of your
right,
bloodstream and they eat you from the inside
I've literally
out.
never seen Ben this excited
That's
before.
great. That's so good.
What about? Have you ever seen that movie Inner Space or for Fantastic Voyage? You know, where you like shrink down and go
inside the human
bloodstream?
body.
Oh,
what if you fought the piranhas inside blood vessels?
I agree. Great point, Ben. You are our finest film critic.
Of course.
The thing I was gonna say, the movie seems weirdly like Ben's laughing hysterically. Ben's in a real...
Ben's real amped.
He's
he had
punchy
some iced
today.
coffee, and I think maybe it jazzed him up a little.
He's jazzed up. He won't stop moving. He's laughing a lot. Away from the mic. We're getting a real show here from Ben today. He's getting some crazy, like, Jiminy Glick on the chair poses.
He really is. Jiminy Glick.
The thing this movie feels weirdly concerned with, which is, like, going against the rules of what you're supposed to do in these movies, is he... tries to give Anne and Kimbra so much integrity as characters.
He does, yeah.
Like they're
he tries to invest it
one-dimensional.
with a real arc.
Yes.
It's like they won't believe her.
Right.
Like, she's uncovering the Piranha scandal.
And they're played, like, very straight. And even just the way that, like...
And, like, they just think she's a lady who, doesn't know it. She's a pair of tits, and, like, no one pays attention. But the movie, nothing around the movie actually backs this up.
No, and they don't have good character arcs.
No.
Like, that's the thing, but he seems really interested in trying to make them solid as characters, with what he has. Not just make them, like, sort of clothes horses.
Clothes horses.
But be like, it's a cop. He's wearing the cop costume. That's all you need to know.
I get
the scene. So she starts having this sort of flirtation with this guy, right?
Tyler Sherman.
Yeah.
And they go to the morgue together.
Yeah.
On their first date.
Right.
To look at a hole-ridden corpse.
Oh, because she tells... That's the first scene where we see her talk to Kimbra, right? Is when he's like, hey, this and that, your student... Like, he's asking her about what happened. And she's like, I need to see the body. I think something weird happened.
Right.
And he's like, I can't let you see the body. And she's like, I was the last person to be with him. And he's like...
Why can't she see the body?
Because he's worried that she's a suspect at this point, that there was weird foul play. But that already tells you so much about their relationship, because it's like...
Wow. It's so like, cold and dead.
He's all business.
Yeah.
Right. He's just talking to her in a business
way. He
way.
even has that part where he's like, my wife has been near the 2 dead bodies of the 3 that have appeared, or something.
He says that to her.
That.
Yes.
Yeah,
so that's what happens. So then her and Tyler start, like, flirting. She's like, I just need some time alone. He's like, come on. He's being real pushy. And she's like, fine, you want to come with me? Fine. Break into a morgue with me.
They break into a morgue.
Yeah.
They see a hole-ridden body with some of the legs have been chomped off and stuff.
Yes.
Bones. It's kind of cool.
Right.
Then a nurse arrives.
Yeah.
And shoos them away.
Get out of here.
You have no respect for the dead.
Yeah.
Then she's cleaning up. This is kind of a good scene.
Yeah, and it's a good Cameron...
There's a decent Cameron scare where she's underneath the table, and then the corpse's hand just sort of falls onto her. And not off the body, just sort of slips off the table,
Prior to that, the music's been playing. Their Piranha theme, so it's like the building kind of tension thing, and you're like, okay, Piranha attack, and then the arm slips down, and you're like,
and she's like, oh, whoa, yeah, right.
False jump scare.
But no.
When the piranha actually, this happens a lot.
There's a piranha in the body.
Yeah, she looks into the body in the hole, and then a little mouth comes out, and she's like, what? And the piranha jumps out and flies in her face and attacks her neck and everything.
Then flies out a window.
Right.
Guys, that happens.
This one's got flying for eyes.
They fly.
But here's the thing he does a couple times in this movie. Builds the tension. You know something's going to happen. The music's playing. They're near a body, or they're near the ocean, or whatever it is. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Oop, fake out, jump scare, here's an arm falling, here's a this. And then they go like, woo! And then when the piranha actually jumps out and attacks, no music.
Right.
Which is kind of an interesting inversion.
Yeah. I didn't notice that. That's good.
The attacks are like silent. Like you're just hearing their screams.
Ah!
Yeah. And it makes them more chilling. Like less scary, but more upsetting. But in a way that's interesting.
Again, here's the thing.
Yeah.
The attacks are all one piranha bites someone's neck.
Yeah.
It's not, underwater, the implication is that the attacks are more like bunch of piranhas attack something.
Yes.
We don't really see that. They obviously don't have the budget for that.
Right.
So it's pretty good, the scene where the nurse dies.
Yeah.
But then once the swimsuit models die on the boat, it's the same thing. You're a little sick of it.
Yeah.
And then they do it again at the party en masse. It's no good. It's no good. The movie, after the nurse gets attacked, the movie is no good for basically the whole movie until the end.
But here's the scene I find the most interesting. Ben shaking his head. I'm sorry.
Worked up.
I just get so mad because Piranha should come out of the toilet and totally get somebody in the butt, and they never did that.
Have you seen Snakes on a Plane?
Hell yeah.
Because there's the bit in Snakes on a Plane, I believe, where a snake comes out of the toilet and bites the guy in the dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's what you want out of a movie.
Fun.
Yeah.
Do you see his dick?
You don't, which I don't love.
Yeah.
That sucks. Anyway.
You know what's the one thing about, like, because I know this is our big soapbox, is, like, getting more dicks on movies?
Yeah.
I was just the 2 perfunctory scenes where
wait, here you go. Hold on. Here's your box.
Oh, thank you, Ben. Has placed a soapbox on the ground. I'm stepping up onto it. Okay.
Great object work, guys.
Doing some Foley work here. This is me stepping up to the box.
Yeah, that really sounds like you stepping onto the box. Yeah. That's how many steps you take to the box?
Sorry, the box is really far away. Let me walk over. Now let me pour myself a glass of water.
What is it about dicks?
Let me drink this water.
You piece of shit.
Here's the thing about dicks, okay? In this movie, the scenes, the perfunctory, like, topless scenes from the actresses, you're like, oh, fuck. You know, no question, like, sexism exists in the industry, you know, devaluing women as characters, robbing them of agency. All they exist to do is be titillation. No question. But just talking in pure, like, cinematic terms, it's much harder to frame a dick clearly in an image and also get emotion from the actor. Because you have to go far enough away.
You do.
Whereas, like, you can just kind of, like...
Look, if the dick was on our chest, maybe things would be different.
That's my... Okay, so here's my new soapbox. Ben, will you throw the new soapbox on the ground?
Oh, sure. Hold on. Oh, this is heavy.
Okay.
There you go.
Wow.
Let me walk
Real
over.
heavy.
It's on the other side of the room. Okay, I'm sorry. I know we're running long, so let me just run over there. Okay, let me pour myself a glass of whiskey.
Whiskey? Wow. It's early.
Let me drink this whiskey. New soapbox. We should have dicks on our chests.
Good job, buddy.
Hey, Griffin, get down from there.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me jump off of this soapbox.
Can you guys tell that maybe we don't have a ton to say about this movie?
Let me launch my parachute.
And of course, this is happening after David read that review where people say that you always derail bits.
So I refuse to derail this bit.
This is like the dumbest thing ever.
Oh, wait, guys, I landed in a tree. Hold on 1 second. Let me get myself out of the leaves here. Crickle, crickle, crickle.
Crickle? Crickle? That's the word?
I can't hear you. These leaves are crickling too loud. Crickle, crickle.
Yeah, maybe we should just do this much of this as possible so that person understands what my job is on this fucking show.
Be careful what you wish for, baby.
Yep.
Okay, so they leave the morgue and they fuck, right? They have some hot sex.
You're talking about
Tyler and Ann.
Tyler and Ann.
Yeah.
They fuck at the hotel.
Oh, and the son at certain points kind of discarded because he starts working on a boat with a young, pretty young thing that he clearly has a crush on, and the dad's like pretty cute, huh? And they're like, yeah, and he's just on the boat with her, right? And you're like, at some point he's going to be in danger.
Which he kind of is a little bit at the end.
Kimbra kind of saves him before he's in danger.
Kimbra just sort of pulls the boat up next to him and is like, get on.
Yeah.
And they do.
But before there's ever like a threat, like the threat is we know the piranha's in the water.
But she is like a sixth braless character, so I guess there's that.
Right.
Yeah.
But Ann and Tyler sleep together, right?
They do, and the film doesn't really judge them for that. No big deal.
Which I kind of love.
No, me too. But then Kimbra shows up and he's like,
yes, but he also doesn't freak out. Like he doesn't.
No.
So he comes because he's like, there are 3 people have died in the last 24 hours, and you were the last one to see 2 of them.
Right, right.
Like the scene very quickly becomes about the stakes of the piranha situation. So like she's still sleeping. Tyler's got their arm around her. Kimbra's there looking for her. He walks in. He sees the 2 of them in bed. Tyler sort of weakly waves. And then Kimbra just like kind of like fucking shakes his head and walks out, right?
Right.
And Tyler wakes her up and he's like, hey, your husband just showed up.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, fuck. And she refers to it at some point earlier in the film as an affair. Like she does say it's an affair.
Right.
You know? Which is like not the ex-husband, but it's like he's so distant that it's like she needs to find love from somebody.
Over. Yeah.
And that you think this film, a shittier version of this film could go towards the M. Night Shyamalan thing where it's like, you know, oh, the man who's become too obsessed with another thing and has neglected his wife, and by the end of the film he has to realize that the wife is the thing he cares about the most.
Right.
But this movie is just kind of like, I mean, he cares about her, but he's incapable of showing real emotion. Like, that's Kimbra's thing.
He's emotional in Aliens.
Yeah.
He's even a little emotional in The Terminator, I would say. A little sympathetic. Not so much in this one.
But I think the character's kind of written that way. Like, it's almost an interesting exploration of a guy who is so obsessive that he can't really connect to other people.
So obsessive about his job as basically a beach patrolman.
Right.
I mean, like, it's weird.
But they, like, Tyler wakes her up and he's like, your husband's here. And she's like, what? And he's like, hey, I tried to gnaw my arm off, but I couldn't do it in time. So she runs out to talk to Kimbra. They don't talk about that at all.
No, yeah, he's like...
He's seething, and it's actually kind of dramatically
show up. Yeah,
interesting. Like, more interesting than you get out of most of these movies where the scene... I'm focusing on the scene so much just because I think the scene is kind of an anomaly in this type of movie. But there's no possessive fight over it. He kind of realizes,
You're right.
I mean, I can't be angry. Well, I haven't been there for her. What can I fucking say?
Well,
and
but then
he gets down to business, which is like this, that, 3 people dead. You need to be ready. And she's like flying piranhas. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't want to hear this bullshit. Yeah. So the scene is him doubting her because he's starting to worry that she's a suspect.
Yeah.
But there's like no shaming over the affair. There's no angry fight. And the movie just kind of proceeds, which is like, that feels like that's Cameron's more interested in that.
It's funny because, and then the at the end of the movie, I mean, do we have to say anything more about the plot of this movie?
No, what they go fucking more pros. They do a thing.
It turns out that Steve, that Tyler
works for the company.
Worked for the
the company that militarized the piranhas and gave them wings.
The piranha militarizing company, and for some reason they dropped off a bunch of like piranha eggs.
Yeah,
he knew this.
Yeah, he knew.
This was a big influence on Aloha.
Yeah, exactly.
The militarization of piranhas. There's also that weird scene where they kill the piranhas by playing the entire history of media.
That's
to
right.
them.
That was a great scene. Bill Murray was really mad though.
Yeah. Piranhas are crazy force. They'll just knock you out.
They have that second act fight.
Yes.
Where she's like, I can't believe you didn't tell me you knew about the militarization of the piranhas. Where it's like it's a very typical sort of moment in a script like this where it's like, and then the couple fights over something, but then they get back together to take on the piranhas, which involves them swimming through a lot of air shafts underwater.
They're trying to, Gabby's trying to,
blow it up.
Yes.
The dynamite fisherman makes a bomb out of like an alarm clock or something.
Yeah.
Which you probably enjoyed. There's a lot of close-ups on a ticking clock.
Well, there's also that thing
which is something Cameron loves, and there's so much of that in Aliens.
And Gabby goes to her boss. Not Gabby. I'm sorry. Fucking Anne goes to her boss.
Yeah, he goes to her boss, and she goes to her boss and says, "Flying piranhas," and he says, "You're fired."
Right. Which that's a lot of the Cameron movies. The villain of every Cameron movie is usually the corporate
a bureaucrat who doesn't understand what it's like on the ground.
Right, and is more interested in trying to get something, be it money, be it unobtainium, be it the xenomorphs.
Yep.
And does not care about how many human lives. He goes, do you know...
He's so good in Avatar. Yeah. It's crazy. Oh, yeah. I'm so excited to talk about that.
The fucking merchandise spotlights we're going to have for the rest of the season are
No.
unbelievable. We're finally getting back into fertile merchandise spotlight territory.
Just the arcade games alone.
Oh, yeah.
The games, I'm down.
But that's like a classic Cameron trope. And the guy's like, we already have appointments booked all day. I'm not canceling them. You're fired. And so she feels like there's the conspiratorial, much like the Whale and Yutani Company of like, oh, they don't care. Like they know and we don't care. So she's got
money you make from diving lessons.
Right. She's got taken in her own hands. Gabby loses.
Diving bureaucrat.
There's that scene where Gabby's over the dead body. Is that supposed to be a friend of his or a relative?
It's a friend of his. Yeah. And then Gabby bites it at the big spawning scene, which happens at a party.
But Gabby has the scene with Anne where he's like, I don't care if I die. I need to go down there. I need to stop this.
So he makes the bomb.
Yes.
But Anne and Steve take it down. Not Steve. Tyler take it down there.
Yeah.
They put the bomb down there, and then they have to leave. It's actually pretty simple.
It's very simple.
But it just takes them a while.
But they'd already done that drumming thing where they tried to, like, conjure the fish on the beach.
And then maybe the fish cut them off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
the only thing that's good is, like, during this big final sequence.
Yeah.
So you're cutting to upstairs where, above the water, upstairs.
Yeah.
Where Lance Henriksen's in a helicopter, and then he crash lands a helicopter on the water somehow.
Uh-huh.
What was that about? That was weird.
He jumps out of the helicopter. I don't fully understand, but it looks cool.
It looks pretty good for a cheap movie.
Yeah, he jumps out of the helicopter, and then the helicopter crashes in the water and explodes.
And he gets on a boat, picks up the kids, and then goes over to the wreck. Meanwhile,
the kids who don't seem to be in danger.
Whatever.
Right, which is interesting, yeah.
Meanwhile, down at the wreck, you've got Anne and Tyler.
Yeah.
And they're swimming through these air shafts, and Anne makes it out, and Tyler doesn't. He gets eaten by the piranha.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I just like is Cameron puts like a red light on his death scene.
Yeah.
Like it's just a big red filter or a red light or something.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty good.
Because
all he's got is this shot of wriggling piranhas, like a big group of them.
Yeah.
Like they're not moving.
Yeah.
Like they're wriggling, but they're not moving in any direction. But it's kind of a little scary.
Yeah.
And apparently he used some of the very early tech like to make his face huggers in Aliens. Like, the same ideas.
I think he said it was the same sort of principles and doing that sort of stuff.
So that's cool.
But the movie ends with...
she gets out of there.
She gets out of there.
She grabs onto the anchor as the boat is leaving.
They think she's dead. It's kind of a nice, unspoken, silent moment where Kimbra looks and she's not there and sits on the boat, and then the son kind of reacts and can tell from his father's face what happened, and he sort of grabs his son and holds him without having to say anything.
Yeah, Henriksen's good.
And then she bubbles up to the water, you know? She floats up, and then they all get together and they hug, and he doesn't overplay it, but it's like the end of the movie is like, well, she had this affair, the guy died, Kimbra almost lost her. Maybe now he's going to, like, appreciate it. But he doesn't say anything, you know?
No. He doesn't say anything, ...
Yeah, it's, like, a very interesting portrayal of a marriage in this film. Because it's, like...
That's a stretch, but it's more interesting than you'd expect.
For this type of movie. It's, on that relative scale, it's very interesting because you rarely see affairs depicted like this. As not being, like, a traitorous act, you know? Mm-hmm. And not villainizing the characters for engaging in them. And Kimbra, like, isn't an asshole. He just can't be there for her. That's his failing as a person.
Right.
And the movie seems more interested in that than anything else. I think speaking to Cameron's nature as, like, a very obsessive person, I think he kind of gets that kind of guy. I mean, I don't know if we're going to cover it on this, but there's a movie called, like, James Cameron's Deep Sea Dive or something like that. It was a film he didn't direct. It was a 3D documentary.
Oh, maybe that should be our bonus episode.
Well, I think we do need to do the 2 that he directed as well, but maybe we do that as a bonus episode.
We're going to do the 2 he directed as an episode.
Yeah.
That's an episode.
I think we should do that as a bonus episode because that movie's fascinating. But it's about him going on an exploration to dive deeper than anyone ever has in the ocean.
Oh, I think that's one of the movies he made.
It's not.
We'll get to, okay.
This came out like 2 years ago. He didn't direct it.
All right.
I saw it in theaters. It was released in 3D. There's Aliens of the Deep and there's Ghosts of the Abyss. And this is called, like, James Cameron's Undersea Exploration 3D. Like, the title is that clunky.
Right.
But it's like they talk to Susie Amos, who's his current wife, and the whole thing is he's going down into this little pod where the pressure is so great in the ocean that if, like, a rivet isn't perfectly tightened, he will just explode. Like, he will explode in a capsule. And they just talk to Susie Amos, and she's just kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, I'd love it if my husband didn't need to put himself in a situation with a very high risk of death. But I guess that's who I'm married to.
Yeah,
like,
that's who she's married
You just have to know that he would rather, like, go deeper into the ocean than anyone ever has, when that's a hobby, not even his job. Like, he's electing to do that, then make sure that he could be there for his wife and kids forever, you know?
No, that's... Well, we'll talk more about him.
But that's the
what you
interesting
gotta roll with James
character.
Cameron.
Yeah.
You know what else we could do?
What?
As a bonus? We could do T2 3D Battle Across Time.
Which I want to do.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the matter at hand.
Yes.
There has been a bonus episode that's been suggested to us.
Oh, yeah,
I am
we're
very
not
much
gonna
in
do
favor
that.
of doing it.
Right.
David is against it. Ben, I want your opinion. And also, I want listeners to write in because I think you're all going to back me up on this.
Right, but we're not going to do it.
There is a touring Cirque du Soleil show that is coming to the New York Barclay Center the weekend of September 11th. It's playing like the 6th to the 11th or something like that.
7th to the 11th?
Right, very soon, right? It might actually be right around when this episode drops. Called Turok, The First Flight. And it is a Cirque du Soleil show inspired by but telling a new original story in the Avatar universe. We're doing a fucking James Cameron miniseries. There's a James Cameron Cirque du Soleil show that is coming to New York City while we're recording, and David doesn't want to go.
Right. I don't. Yeah. Here's why. Don't want to go.
Ben?
Sounds boring.
Well, all right. I like a carnival.
Hell's yeah.
I
love a carnival.
I like
quote,
a French.
Ben
I like a French carnival.
I love a French carnival. Quote. Ben
I never saw Avatar.
Well, are you excited to see Avatar?
Yeah, I'm bummed that I didn't get the 3D experience.
And I'll say,
maybe you should buy a 3D TV.
Listener and friend of the show, Jordan Fish, has a 3D TV and has offered up our 3D TV, his 3D TV, to us to watch the 3D movies, the 2 documentaries and Avatar. If we want.
Isn't it funny how 3D TVs, for a second, it was like, oh, soon they're all going to be 3D. And like now it's like
Smart
everyone's like,
TV.
oh, forget it.
Yeah.
forget it.
I kind of want
They're curved now.
Yeah,
curved
that's
TV
the new
now.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't wait for 1 year from now for them to be like, oh, actually, it turns out curves are a bad idea. Like, TV should be flat.
Yeah, I don't get the curve thing. Well, this has been our episode.
No.
What?
No.
Box office game.
Box office game.
Okay.
Excuse me.
But as we're playing the box office game, I'm going to hand Ben a phone playing the Avatar Cirque du Soleil show so he can see and weigh in on whether or not he wants to see this. I know what Ben's going to say immediately.
Well, of course. That's
Okay.
just pandering.
Box office game. This didn't come anywhere close to the top 10. It barely got released, but we're going to
It's not even listed in Box Office Mojo's database because I don't think I don't know how much money this movie made. Yeah. It's not known.
Ben's got a huge grin on his face. I just want the listener to know.
So this movie came out.
Let's go, Ray. We gotta go.
Yeah, you guys have fun.
You're coming.
You're coming with us, David.
That's great. So
they got kites.
Let me see this.
Turek, the first flight.
It kind of looks basically like someone ripped off The Lion King, like, except with Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah, there they are. How
Done.
long is this?
Sold.
Good Lord.
I think it's 7 hours. No, it's probably like hour 40. It's probably like a trim hour 40.
Like, one of these
this
episodes.
Looks so painfully bad.
I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see this with you. I'm going to have such a good time watching this next to you. Okay, box office game, 1981.
So it came out the weekend of November 4th, 1982.
God, I love this. I'm so excited to see this. Yeah.
It came out in Italy in 81.
Yeah, okay.
Put the trailer away.
They're
Put
petting,
it away.
They're petting a dire horse.
Put it away now.
The Floating Mountains of Pandora.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the number one movie that week,
okay,
I want you to tell me.
From 1982.
1982 November. It was an action movie, one of his best ever.
The actor or the director?
The actor. I don't even know who directed it. I forget.
Interesting. Okay, so it's pretty anonymous. One of his best ever. And it's
such a good movie.
It's not Schwarzenegger, it's not Stallone.
It is Stallone.
It is Stallone. Is it First Blood? Okay.
First Blood.
And then Cameron writes
Rambo 2, right?
He writes Rambo 2. I think he's the sole
Rambo
credited
First Blood Part 2.
screenwriter. Yes. Interesting. Okay.
I think you're right, which is not a good movie, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right, number 2
First Blood. Okay, is number 1.
Is a national it made $6.6 million second week release. Number 2 is a National Lampoon movie, but not one I know. An early one, pre-Animal House.
Not pre-Animal House, because Animal House comes out before that. I think Animal House is 79.
You're right. You're right. It's the third Animal House.
Right. They filmed it while he was still on.
It's the third National Lampoon. Sorry.
Right. And Vacation hasn't happened yet?
No.
Okay, so it's...
John Hughes is the credited writer.
I fucking... Oh, God.
It's a really dull name.
I know what this is. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No, but I just know because of reading, like, John Hughes profiles and shit. I'm never going to get the title. What's the fucking name of this one?
Class Reunion.
Yes. I knew it was something school or class.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Is it?
I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. I have heard no one say anything interesting about it. It just comes up when people are writing about John Hughes' career. No, I knew it was some school fucking thing. Yeah.
Number 3 is a movie that some people like. It's the third in a horror franchise.
Is it the best one? Is it Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors?
Dream Warriors. It's not Dream Warriors.
Okay, because that's the best.
It is it's a curio.
Is it Halloween 3 Season of the Witch?
That's right.
Okay.
Which I've never seen.
And that was
the one that doesn't have Michael Myers in it. It's just another
They tried to make it an anthology of just films that take place on Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they never did that again.
Yeah.
But I think some people kind of like it.
Yeah.
It's like got its fans, I think.
Yeah. I just think it's a cool idea they did that. And then we're like, never mind. Halloween 4. Mikey Myers, baby.
Number 4 was, I believe, the number 1 grossing film of all time at the time.
E.T. the Extraterrestrial?
Correct.
In what week of release? 74?
It is in the 21st week of release. It has made $279 million
that will
in 1982.
Never happen again. Run like that, okay?
In fact, in just to adjust for inflation, it had made $823 million domestically. Number 5 is a movie that adjusted had made $250 million in its 14th week of release. It was an Oscar winner. It's a romantic drama.
Out of Africa?
No.
Oh, no, because that wins a different year.
It wins in like 85 or something. Starring, I don't want to tell you. It won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. It's a naval romance.
Oh. The great Lou Gossett Jr. giving that Oscar perf in Officer and a Gentleman.
Officer and a Gentleman, which made, so much money.
Yeah.
Holy shit. You are the wind beneath. You forget because... Like, to us, an Officer Gentleman, it's like, it's a footnote, right? It's like, oh, well, there's the scene where he lifts her up and carries her out. Yeah. And, what's Gossett Jr.'s in it, Dickie Gear's in it, and he's got a cute uniform on. That movie made $400 million adjusted, It was a phenomenon.
Remember when adults used to go see movies?
It's crazy. So there you go. That's your top 5.
That's fascinating.
You've also got Monsignor, which I think is like a Peter O'Toole.
Never heard of it, but it sounds like a Peter O'Toole movie.
Pink Floyd, The Wall is up there. Rocky 3's in there. Rocky 3 and First Blood, both in the top 10.
Baby Stallone.
Yeah. Anyway, 82, different time.
It's a different time. But
so, everything else is going to be really great, guys.
Yeah, get ready.
So, sorry about this episode. I mean, we had fun, but
we had a fun time. I don't know.
The Wide Awake Praying with Anger lead into the Shyamalan series is also pretty weak.
I think
what could we do? Really?
Yeah. But combining the two made it a little more action packed.
What if we had combined Piranha II: The Spawning and The Terminator?
Yeah.
For some reason.
Well, that was the problem. It's like I wish he had two underwhelming movies at the beginning.
I mean, we could have watched his short film Xenogenesis.
Is it available online anywhere?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I've never looked for it. He did make a 12-minute sci-fi movie in 1978, which was his calling card, I guess.
I feel like this is going to be the first season where we do 12 different bonus episodes.
Yeah, maybe we'll do. I mean, or maybe we'll do
a bonus
multiple episodes.
Yeah,
for like a certain movie. I don't know, man.
Game over, man. Look, thank you for listening. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe.
New mini.
It's a new mini. We broke off a new mini, baby.
That was me breaking it off.
Ciao.
That's what happens when you break off a new mini.
And like a flare gun, it goes up into the sky. Yeah. Not flare gun, flare kiss. I don't know. Fuck me.
Flare kiss?
Yeah, flare kiss. Flare kiss.
Yeah. Flare kiss.
Yeah.
How was that? Did you like that?
I love that. 15
Ben
comedy
didn't
points.
like it.
Yeah.
50 or 15?
15.
Okay.
And hey, shout out to and thanks to Andy Levy, who Andy Levy really recently, it'll be less recently by the time this airs, had me on his show Red Eye, the Fox News show, interviewed me to talk about The Tick, and on air gave me 10 comedy points.
Yes, and I told him to do that via Twitter DM.
Yeah, but he did it.
No, he did it. No, I was not sure that he was going to do it.
There's no footage of me on Fox News being given 10 comedy points.
Well, you bring up Andy.
Yeah.
You just made me think. We never talked about the Jewish stereotype character in the movie.
Who disappears.
Who just disappears. He does have sex.
The dentist?
Yeah. That's the last we see of him, right?
Yeah.
During the piranha attack, he's like, well, I'm getting laid, or like, so he like closes the screen door.
Yeah.
So at least he has sex.
Nice.
So Andy Levy, that's what made you. Is it Levy or Levy?
I don't know. That's why I'm cutting it both ways.
But that man's Jewish last name made you think of the Jewish stereotype in this movie. Great job, Ben Hosley.
Yeah. Very reductive. Jesus Christ, Ben. You've gone mad with power.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
you might be our finest film critic, but you're not our finest humanist.
No, I like everybody.
Oh, fine. Okay. Apology accepted.
Ben for president.
Yeah, Ben for president.
You're not 35 yet,
right.
So maybe not president.
Yeah.
But, think about it. Maybe next time.
I could do politics.
Maybe, politician, president, Ben?
Yeah. President, Hazident?
BOTUS.
Yeah, there we go. BOTUS.
Great.
Ben of the United States.
You guys are enjoying this, right?
Having a great time.
Ben, don't keep this all in. Keep it all in and then play it again. Double it.
Play it again.
Yeah, Sam.
Play it again, Sam.
Play it again, Ben.
We're going to rewind and start from the beginning.
Yeah, just play it all backwards.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Like Memento style.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening. Tune in next week for The Terminator.
The Terminator.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Which apparently you haven't seen, so that's actually exciting. I mean,
haven't seen it in a while. Yes.
But you have barely remember.
I haven't seen through adult eyes.
Exactly.
I remember it. But
really good through adult eyes, especially
Yeah.
in modern terms, is a movie that is about women feeling under threat at all times wherever they go while they're walking on the streets at night. Basically.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, really great movie. Michael Biehn, baby.
Oh, Michael Biehn, baby.
Bean, baby, Bean.
Bean, baby, Bean. Thank you for listening.
Yes.
And as always,
yes.
Ben, would you mind placing down my tallest soapbox?
Oh, yeah, hold on.
Wow, it's made of metal.
Clink! It's metal, so it made it. Okay,
yeah,
let me.
That was good noise.
Whew, a lot of steps. Let me just take a breather here. Whew, okay, let's. Okay, let me change outfits. Let me unzip this. Zip. Let me put on a different jumpsuit here. Zip. Do these Velcro latches. Okay, let me shoot some.
I love how you're the one who's in a rush.
Flares into the air.
Here we go. I don't know how much longer this is going for.
Okay, and now David's walking out of the studio.
That was too realistic, Ben.
Meow.
Oh, there's a cat?
Woof, 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 woof.
No, David, don't say anything. Let this go.
Ka-punk, 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 ka-punk.
Oh, my bowling ball.
Step up to the mic. Hello. Thank you all for waiting. Now that everything has been set up properly, I'd like to announce that this is the end of the episode.
This has been a UCB Comedy production. Check out our other shows on the UCB Comedy Podcast Network.